Lying, cheating, and deceiving. This is a reality in everyday sports that is a result of the use of PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. My purpose is to bring awareness to the problem that is facing professional sports. As a player and a fan of sports, I often hear about athletes being caught for abusing performance enhancers, and it frustrates me, knowing that they are getting off with little discipline. First, I'm going to explain the history of PEDs, and then I will explain the punishments given when athletes are caught abusing PEDs, which are far too lenient. Finally, I will provide my solution of PED abuse. Sports leagues should impose a career-ending ban on athletes that choose to abuse them. The first uses of PEDs date back centuries. Athletes competing in the original Olympic Games in ancient Greece drank opium juice for energy. 19th century French cyclists procured a mixture of cocaine and heroin to gain an edge. The cocaine helped enhance their performance through increased energy, while the heroin numbed the pain of the strenuous ride. There have also been many new discoveries of PEDs in the last century, one in which, in 1939, biochemist Ernest Lecour and his colleagues successfully isolated the male sex hormone testosterone. Testosterone, an anabolic steroid, helps with rapid muscle growth and supports bone growth as well. This is a favorable supplement for athletes to take, as most sports require strength to excel at. It wasn't until the mid to late 20th century that athletic organizations began testing for PEDs. In 1968, the International Olympic Committee began their anti-doping testing on Olympic athletes. A few years later, in 1983 and 1987, the NBA and NFL began drug testing respectively. In 2002, the MLB finally established a steroid testing policy and a new labor deal. Despite these new testing policies, athletes are not deterred from abusing performance enhancers. The Olympic Games are the strictest enforcers of PED penalties. The first time an athlete is caught with PEDs in their system, they receive a 2-year ban from the Olympics. When athletes are caught a second time with PEDs, they are banned from the Olympics for life. The NFL and NBA, however, aren't nearly as strict with their PED policies. For a third-time offender in the NFL, a player is only given a 1-year suspension without pay. In the NBA, when a player is caught for the third time with PEDs, they receive a life-altering 25-game suspension. The MLB recently enforced stricter penalties to players that test positive for PEDs. From 2002 to 2006, when a player was caught for the 5th time, they only received a 1-year suspension. Now, when a player is caught for the 3rd time, they are banned for life. In an interview with Sports Illustrated in 2002, Ken Caminiti, a former MLB player and PED user, claimed about half of all Major League Baseball players use steroids to enhance athletic performance. That is a ridiculous amount. These penalties are far too tolerant towards professional athletes. If these players are to understand the severity of their actions, then harsher punishments must be implemented. Athletes should be banned for life when tested positive for PEDs. Sports commissioners and the media make a big deal out of PED scandals when all the drama can be ended with one simple ultimatum. Do not use PEDs or use them and risk being permanently banned from your sport. Professional athletes would have to be fools to try and risk their entire career for gaining an upper hand on their opponents. It's not reasonable for players that want to cheat to get off easy when there are players that play fairly. Some could argue that players could be set up and have their food or drink spiked with a performance enhancer. First off, players would most likely notice if this were to happen. If it were to happen, however, there would be a thorough investigation into the case, and unless it was unanimously decided they were guilty, they would be let go with no penalties. Another argument is that this is their career, and if they lose this job, they will have nothing. It would be wise for professional athletes to keep that in mind when they consider abusing performance enhancers. The CEO of a company wouldn't go blacked out drunk to a regional meeting, so why would a sports player take PEDs when he knows the consequences? The idea of having your career stripped from you in one fell swoop may sound harsh, but it is necessary to ingrain into athletes' minds that it is wrong. There have been far too many scandals in the past resulting in athletes accepting gold medals and premier accolades when they should not have. A prime example is Lance Armstrong. Won 7 gold medals in the Tour de France straight, all with the use of PEDs. I've explained the history of PEDs as well as the forgiving punishments that are given to the athletes that abuse them. Finally, I gave the solution of a zero-tolerance, lifelong ban for the first time an athlete tests positive for PEDs. Hopefully, with this new policy set in place, professional athletes will understand the severity of their actions. Not only do these substances harm players' bodies, but as soon as they take these drugs, they are instantly disrespecting themselves, their team, their fans, and their sport. A no-tolerance stand needs to be taken against the athletes that believe that they need to cheat to win, no matter how extreme it seems. If professional athletes truly care about their careers and respect their sport, then they will have no problem with a lifelong ban when tested positive for performance enhancers. Sports were invented for fair play and competition, and it is time for that principle to be firmly reestablished.